I caught a 200-pound catfish. He said, you caught a 200-pound catfish. He said, man, I'm the best fisherman in the world. He said, why you say you're the best fisherman in the world? Because you caught a catfish that weighs 200 pounds. He said, oh, he said, I'm just the best fisherman I ever had. He said, well, you such a good fisherman. Well, do you know how to cook him? He said, oh, yeah. He said, I know how to cook him. He said, well, 200 fish, 200-pound fish, you ought to got fed a lot of folks in there. He said, no. He said, no, I didn't feed that many folks in there. He said, why is that? He said, man, I'm a good fisherman. He said, why do you keep saying he's a good fisherman? He said, well, I didn't get 5 pounds of meat out of him. He said, man, you didn't get but 5 pounds of meat out of a 200-pound fish. He said, yeah, after I got through taking all the fish hooks out of him, he didn't weigh but 10 pounds. I'm a pretty good fisherman.
Well, one time I was in Louisiana. You know, in Louisiana they got strange stuff down there.
Yeah.
And I went fishing and I wasn't thinking much, so I had him in the cove here, you know, I sit over there and I just tied the chain to my foot because that's what I use like take a nap, you know.
I love you, Mom.
So, kind of get a little dark, I feel it on my toe, you know. So I reached down there and tried to pull that fish in. And
my
string's real long, so I run back over the hill trying to get him in because he's bigger, you know. I run over that little hill out here and flop him on the shore. So I run, and it's almost dark, you know, so I run back over to see how big he was, and he run off. One of the walking catfish they tell me about. So I chase him down. I get almost up on him and he climbs through. I'm going to find out what it is. So I climb the tree. Get all the way up the top. You know that? He's still awake.
Get off of him.
I got to beat his shoulder.
Get off of him, Gabe.
Well, you ain't gonna beat that one. His old man. He's going in there and he said, man, I've got a fish show, can't nobody beat it. He said, man, I was down there and I was fishing, and they said, you know, down there where we fish at, they got these cars and stuff, and man, them catfish get big in these cars. They'll push them old abandoned cars off into the lake in there, and them catfish will go in there and they'll breathe. And man, they'll get big. He said, I was down there and said, I was sitting there and said, man, one hit the hook. I hung him. Hey, man, I bet he weighed 100 pounds. Man, and I couldn't get him out. Man, he's big and he hung up. So I figured, man, I know he's got to be a big one. So he goes in there and he jumps down he goes in there and takes his clothes off and he swims down there and man, I find out what he hung up in. He said, man, I just couldn't get him. I said, well, what was he hung up on? He said, well, every time I'd reach in there to get him, he'd roll the window up.
Yeah. Well, you can't
still typing all of this.
You can't beat the one you flew away.
I can't beat that one.
I heard it, but I heard it a different way, man.
I got that.
I heard that. That's good.
Oh, check. That was too.
Yeah.
You can't beat that one.
We're going to sing now since we keep telling jokes. You think I need to put that on the church?
Jonathan, I am Diddy.
We're going to put that on.
Get away, buddy.
We might put that on the Bible.
You put that one on there, you might well keep it.
Oh, I may do it though. I tell them, y'all talking about y'all hunting low.
Well, I'll be laughing so much I won't be able to hear it.
We missed coming down. We're going to be gone for about a month. I got to go back to Fairfield for shutdown. Whoa! All right.
They're doing a shutdown.
We're going to sing since we've been telling jokes. We get to sing.
Hey, give me that back.